Going on, guys? Welcome back to Rev Hard Garage. If you're new here, welcome to Rev Hard Garage. Today we're working on another Nissan 240. This is a 1996 Nissan 240, and this is what we're working with here. Let me turn the light on for you. This is a 96 Nissan 240, as I already said, and it's pretty neat little car. It's got a few little problems we're gonna work on, but it's lower. It's got a S15 front end conversion, which will probably kind of be hard to see right now, but it's also got an SR20 swap, and it's mildly built. You can see some upgrades here, and it's my understanding that this thing's making right around 420 to the tire, so not too bad considering how light this car is. This is a pretty quick little car. But what we're going to be working on today is it's got some wiring issues for one, and the left tail light's not working, brake lights aren't working, there's like a short or something in the horn, all kind of weird stuff like that. So I'm going to dive into this, see if I can figure out what the issue is, and there's got to be some damage in the harness, or some wires shorted out or something. So I'm going to start looking into that and see what's going on, and possibly walk you guys through repairs, and so we'll see what's going on. Got a pretty cool little setup though. Some of the other problems this thing's having, there's an issue with the clutch pedal that needs to be adjusted, and it's got a really bad vibration from the engine. At first I thought it had solid mounts, but apparently it looks like it's got polyurethane mounts, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on yet. I just got it in, so I've got to get up under the car and see if maybe they've got the exhaust bolted to the body or something. I'm not really sure. So we're just going to check on that later. But for right now, the main thing we're going to be working on is the wiring and the clutch. So I guess I'm just going to stop jibber jabbering and get to work. So y'all stay tuned.
Later that night.
Alright guys, good news. Got the most of the electrical stuff figured out. What it ended up being is there was a wire shorted out behind the driver's side headlight, and it was actually for the running lights. So on this car, the running lights and the tail lights are all on the same fuse. They had blown a fuse, so I fixed that wire, got that all straightened out, and replaced the fuse. And so now all the lights are working. I had to mess with just about all of them. The tail lights, there was one bulb that was backwards. I'll go ahead and turn these on. It's got all these LEDs in it, and so these came on right away. And this one was actually backwards. The polarity was switched, but that's alright. And this one had some corrosion in it, so I cleaned that up. Got those working. Brake lights come on. And then on the front, and of course you can see we got the marker light. This one was actually blown, and then this low beam was working, this high beam was blown, and this high beam was working, and this low beam was blown. So I went ahead and put new low beams, new high beams, and new markers in the front, and got all that stuff working. He still got a small problem with the switch, so I'm going to recommend for him to change that out. But if you watch, when I flip it to high beams, this side turns off, and so I went through the wiring and double checked everything. Now if I play with this switch, I'm just going to pull it back a little bit, just I'm talking about just barely touching it. That high beam comes on and goes off and whatever. If I play with them just right, see, now they're all four on again. So that's low beam and high beam right there. And then if I keep wiggling it around, it goes back to the low beam. So There's some kind of small issue in here, but the low beams and everything are working good, so at least he can drive it at night. Before he had no lights. He had his passenger side headlight low beam worked, and that was it. So, and then of course you can see the brake lights. All three of them are working. So that's good now.
What follows is a brief construction montage.
Alright, this is where the transmission is digging into this bracket, and you can actually see right there where it had been digging into it. And it actually looks like somebody's cut. There's a cut edge on there, but they obviously didn't do it enough. So we just got to nip this corner off right here, and we should get the clearance we need. I'm going to use my little bandsaw because it's a nice little corner right here.
We hope you enjoyed this brief construction montage.
Up in the air, and I found the issue with the trans mount. That's where most of the vibration was coming from. Is the trans mount? It's like a conversion kit because this has got a CD 009 transmission, and they had like a little swap bracket kit in there, and it was. When it was bolted to the transmission, it was actually like digging into the transmission. So I took it out and cut that little corner off right there, so it gave a clearance and painted it and everything and put it back in. And then come to find out, the transmission was also kind of pushed up into the tonneau. It was just touching a little bit, kind of where the shifter area is. So I put about, I'm gonna say about 3/16 of an inch of washers between that mount and the body, just to drop it down just a little bit, and it clears now. So most of that vibration is gone. So now the only two issues I've got left to work on immediately is the horn is stuck on for some reason, and I got a feeling there's an issue with this clock spring, so I'm gonna have to pull this stuff apart right here and see if I can figure out what's going on with that. I already tested the relay's working perfect. The circuit and everything's working fine, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be right there in the clock spring in the steering wheel. And then we've got kind of an odd problem with the clutch. Now, I did notice a few minutes ago, this is going to be kind of a weird angle, sorry. I did notice a minute ago that the clutch feels nice and has a lot of pressure in it right now. And if I kind of wiggle it around, you see how it's all of a sudden got a bunch of play in it? So when it's like right there, it's not even enough to hardly disconnect the clutch. So I think what it is, because you notice the shaft going into the master cylinder is not really moving. It's the bushing or something in there, but that's a lot of play. I mean, we're talking about probably 1.5 inches of play at the pedal. So I'm not sure if it's the pin is worn down a bunch or what, but I'm about to try to get up in here and see if I can figure that out right quick. But I think that's the only issue with the clutch, is this pedal assembly right here has got an issue. If you kind of wiggle it around, you can all of a sudden, something will move to a certain point where it gets tight. So that's why I'm kind of thinking the pin might have a deep groove worn in it. So I'm going to pull it out to see what's going on with that one.
You get the idea.